What's up, Taiwan? I'm Leslie Liao with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Taiwan's foreign minister says he's asked the U.S. to add Taiwan to its so-called nuclear umbrella. This is a list of countries the U.S. promises to protect against a nuclear attack. But is it a realistic proposal? John Von Triest takes a look.
It's a nightmare scenario for Taiwan, a nuclear attack from China aimed at getting the island to surrender. China claims Taiwan as part of its territory and has vowed to use force to take it if needed. And China's nuclear arsenal is growing. By 2035, it's expected to have 1,500 nuclear weapons. That's why Taiwan's foreign minister Joseph Wu says deterrence is key. He's asked the U.S. to add Taiwan to its nuclear umbrella. It's a list of countries the U.S. tries to shield from nuclear attack. The idea is that if any of them are bombed, the U.S. will retaliate against the aggressor with its own nuclear strike. Some lawmakers offered conditional support for the idea.
包含总统跟这个外交部、国防部以及相关的国安单位以及团队，应该要就台湾人民总体的利益为最高的前提来做一个妥适的规划。
The U.S. has recently shown its commitment to other countries already under its nuclear umbrella. In April, Washington told South Korea a nuclear strike on the North is on the table if Seoul is attacked. And during last week's G7 summit, the U.S. sent a nuclear-powered aircraft carrier to drill with Japanese warships. Some at Taipei think tank, the Institute for National Defense and Security Research, say it would be good for Taiwan to be included too.
将来台海发生冲突的时候，假如美国是要来介入所谓的台海军事冲突，核武绝对是中国啊，哈，可以最后手上最后的一张王牌。
However, others at the same think tank believe the U.S. is unlikely to agree. And despite the rhetoric coming from Taiwanese politicians, it's highly unlikely China would opt to use nuclear weapons on a land it claims as already its territory. They also say that the U.S. is unlikely to overtly say how it would defend Taiwan from an attack.
在核子武器的这个嚇阻的部分，我想这个议题这个 issue， 我想就不用太过去仔细的说明，这个就比较像是一个默契了。
Meaning that for the foreseeable future, Taiwan's defense will have to rely on more conventional weapons. Eason Chen and John Van Triest for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan says it is continuing to press Japan to apologize and offer compensation to so-called comfort women and their families. Taiwan's last known survivor of Japanese wartime sexual slavery died earlier this month, aged 92. The Imperial Japanese Army forcefully recruited more than 2,000 Taiwanese women to work in military brothels before and during World War II. Overall, an estimated 200,000 women were conscripted from territories occupied by Japan, chiefly Korea, China, and Southeast Asia. Japan's government has at times denied or downplayed the abuses. At other times, it has acknowledged them. Taiwan's foreign ministry says the use of comfort women is a wound in human history. Authorities found a migrant caregiver badly beaten and forced to work 21.5 hours every day. But as Bing Wang reports, this is not an isolated incident.
人已经打成这样了，你看，我要带去验伤啊！这个，你们太过分了，太可恶了。
This video shows a broker reprimanding a family in Taichung for mistreating a migrant worker. They're accused of beating a caregiver hired to tend to their debilitated son. She says she was forced to work more than 20 hours a day. Authorities are investigating the family, who also allegedly confiscated the migrant worker's passport and phone, restricting her freedom.
侯姓被告等3人涉犯人口贩运防治法之意图盈利、以强暴、胁迫、恐吓、拘禁、监控等方法，使人从事劳动与报酬显不相当之工作罪、刑法之伤害罪、剥夺他人行动自由罪、恐吓维安罪等罪嫌明确，提起公诉。
The Taiwan Association for Human Rights said this is not an isolated case, but incidents like these have a very low conviction rate.
家庭看护工、家事劳工纳入劳基法，完整的保障，还是有一个家事服务法、一个专法来保障，基本上都是目前可以去走的方向。
Taiwan is an aging society, and many families are hiring more migrant workers to take care of their elders. There are some 700,000 migrant workers in the country, and they are essential to the economy. They not only work as caregivers, but also in factories and dangerous fishery jobs. The Labor Ministry hopes to attract at least 80,000 more migrants. But rights activists say the government should also focus on safeguarding the workers' well-being while in Taiwan. Ricky and Bing Wong for TaiwanPlus.
Russia claims to have, quote, liquidated those involved in a cross-border incursion in its Belgorod region. The Russian military says they killed more than 70 fighters and drove the remaining forces back. Two Russian opposition groups based in Ukraine have claimed responsibility for the attack. Those groups say they have not suffered any losses. The Russian Defense Ministry blames Ukraine for the attack, but Kyiv says it's not involved. The Philippines' northernmost province, Batanes, relies on imports for most of the food it consumes. Rick Law reports on how the tensions between China and Taiwan are forcing the islands to rethink food security.
In his spare time, office worker Jerome Kabugao grows what he can to boost his family's supply of food. On the remote island of Batanes in the northern Philippines, indigenous Ivitans like Kabugao contend not just with the rugged terrain, but strong winds and extreme weather. Conditions that also make it hard to import all the food they need.
The risks are always there, and that is why it's very important for us to be prepared for any eventualities.
Now the 17,000 Ivitans on Batanes are facing new risks. The possibility of conflict in the nearby Taiwan Strait, which is underlining their island's vulnerability. Batanes relies on imports for the vast majority of the island's food. Most of it arrives here at the province's largest port. Anything that stops those crucial supply boats from arriving presents a real threat to the lives of the Ivitan. Batanes is less than 200 kilometers from Taiwan, which China claims as part of its sovereign territory. The Chinese military has increasingly sent boats and planes into the area around the island nation, fueling a build-up in the region not just of Chinese forces, but the US military, an ally of Taiwan. And the Philippines risks getting caught in between the US, its historical military partner, and China, its largest trading partner. This has prompted Batanes to prepare for the worst, planning to stockpile necessities and boost the amount of food it can produce on the islands, including some projects funded by China. At the same time, local officials have their eyes on US funding. The United States recently promised more than $80 million to develop Philippine military bases it wants access to. Batanes hopes a deal like this could upgrade the island's infrastructure, allowing more boats and planes to land. But some see it as a potential double-edged sword.
We welcome that, but on the other hand, infrastructure that is built by, for military purposes, that's also dangerous for the part of Batanes.
Many Ivitans believe traditional skills learned over centuries of fishing and farming will help them face anything that lies ahead.
We have to be humble. We have to be hard workers. So, like the creepers of the yam and the sweet potato, we have to creep on the ground and feel that we are attached to our Mother Earth.
Ivitans farm in time with the phases of the moon, a tradition that has helped them survive here for generations. Now, as they grapple with the potential impact of a conflict beyond their control, it is their connection to the land that is providing a sense of security. Patrick Chen and Rick Lowett in Batanes, the Philippines, for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan is ramping up a crackdown on traffic violations after new rules took effect earlier this month. Police reported large increases in citations for violating traffic laws for the first 3 weeks of May. These include not yielding to pedestrians at crosswalks and blocking the road with a vehicle or vendor cart. The biggest rise in penalties was for cars failing to stop completely at intersections. Taiwan revised its road traffic laws in April, raising penalties for common violations and making it easier for people to report them. The changes came after a series of deaths or serious injuries caused by cars hitting pedestrians. The number of people in Taiwan who support same-sex marriage in Taiwan has grown by over 25% in fewer than 5 years. It's a figure which has seen a major uptick since the country legalized the right for same-sex couples to marry 40 years ago. According to an annual government survey, over 62.6% of Taiwan's public now support same-sex marriage. This is compared to fewer than 37.5% of those who were surveyed in 2018. May 24th marks the 4-year anniversary since Taiwan became the first country in Asia to officially recognize same-sex marriage. Since then, over 10,000 same-sex couples have registered their marriages. The 2023 Asian Games are just around the corner, and Taiwanese athletes are already training hard for them. TaiwanPlus reporter Jeremy Olivier looks at Taiwan's competitive shooting team and how they're preparing for the event in China's Hangzhou in September.
Keeping a steady hand and a sharp eye, these competitive shooters from Taiwan are training up for the 2023 Asian Games, which will kick off in September in Hangzhou, China. For a country with strict gun laws, it might come as a surprise that Taiwan excels in shooting sports. But the country's team rocked the last Asian Games in 2018, taking home 2 gold medals, a silver, and a bronze. Several of Taiwan's top shooters are women. Lin Yingxin won Taiwan's first gold at the women's 10-meter air rifle competition in 2018's Games. She's been getting used to shooting with electronic triggers after switching from mechanical ones a couple months ago.
因为我个人比较敏感，那重量其实差个几公克，我就会感觉出来很明显的差异。出国的时候比较不用担心，因为它是电子的，那它不太会因为就是震动啊什么的去改变它那个克数。
Other team members are getting ready in their own way. Precision sports, like shooting, require deep concentration. Shooters, like Liu Xiaochuan, say they're just trying to get in the zone and stay there.
不争就是争嘛，那就不要让自己有太大的压力，希望能够就是发挥超水准的表现这样子。
As the September 9th opening date nears, Taiwan's eagle-eyed shooting team is aiming high for this year's Asian Games and looking to bring home another record haul of medals. Howard Zhang and Jeremy Olivier for TaiwanPlus.
Now, if you're a fat cat, you're going to want to look away for this next one because 2 Taiwanese sisters have invented an award-winning gadget that'll make your kitty work for its dinner. Stash Butler tells us more.
Spin the roller and win a meal. This new gadget for cats won gold at the World Genius Convention and Education Expo in Tokyo. And the inventors? These 2 sisters from Taiwan. The eldest, 6th grader Christine Chen, explains why they made it.
做一些研究发现，地球上60%的猫都是过胖的，所以我们就很担心，就想要做出这样的发明。
Every time the roller spins, a light flashes on this stand. 20 spins and your cat has earned its dinner. The girl's mother says the invention has been a long time in the making.
他们小时候就常常会想很多的创意天马行空的，然后我都鼓励他们把它画下来，可以用自己一个小小的能力，怎么样去帮助大家这样。
The girls were the youngest gold winners at the expo last week, and given their age, they could be winning for many years to come. Eason Chen and Stash Butler for TaiwanPlus.
In more animal news, love is in the air for the penguins at the Pingtung Aquarium in southern Taiwan. The enclosure is gearing up for the penguins' breeding season in July. Caretakers have been setting the scene with annual health checks for the birds and building a small pebble mountain. Pebbles are used as a type of love token between mating penguins. Male penguins will choose a pebble to present to their mate in hopes of starting a family. If accepted, the pebble will then become a part of the couple's nest. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. Finally today, we leave you with images from a downhill mountain bike race in Bolivia that looks quite dangerous. I'm Leslie Liao, take care and see you next time.